Hey everyone, and welcome back to On the Road again. Now, we've pretty much wrapped up our Celebrity Apex Norwegian 7-night cruise, but one of the things I wanted to do was talk about eating in Blu. I posted a link to our video in one of the Facebook groups last week, and it created loads of conversation about people who think Aqua Class is worth it versus those people who don't think it's worth it. And of course, one of the big reasons why you, and indeed we, did pick Aqua Class was because of the ability to eat in the exclusive restaurant of Blu every night. So I thought I would do a quick review of all the food that we ate, so you can have a little bit of food porn and see all the food that we ate and give you our honest thoughts about that at the end to help you make the decision. Do you want to spend the extra money booking in Aqua Class, which of course gives you the benefit of eating in Blu plus access to the spa, or would you rather save that £500 to £1,000 and spend it on eating in specialty restaurants yourself or buying other things with that money? So that's what we're going to dig into today. So let's head over to our very first night of our cruise, and we're really excited to go and eat in Blu. Okay, let's jump into our very first evening, and we were really excited to eat in Blu, and I'm just giving you a quick view of the menu here. Obviously you can pause this video if you want to read the menu in detail. And we started things off with the amazing bread that they give you every night. Different lovely fresh breads with some interesting butters and dips. You have to be really careful you don't fill yourself up just by eating the bread. And then our starters arrived, and James had the spinach salad and I had the caprese salad, which was probably one of my favourite starters and my favourite part of this meal. Then our main courses arrived and we both had the filet mignon. Now, the portion sizes seemed quite small, but to be honest, we were full up by the end of every evening, and probably because we ate a lot of the bread. Then on to desserts, and James isn't a big sugar eater, so he had the cheese and biscuits, which is not on the main menu, but you can ask for it because you can get things from the main dining room. And I had the caramel cheesecake, which was nice and kind of as you would expect. So that was night one. We really enjoyed the meal. The service was fantastic, and it's just a really nice kind of intimate environment. Now, on the evening of day two, we ate in Eden, so we're skipping forward to day three. And because it was a sea day, we were able to have breakfast in the Blu Restaurant as well. So here is a menu, and it has your typical kind of breakfast fare. We were also able to order a specialty coffee, so we had a double shot latte, which was really nice. And then James ordered the omelette with bacon, and I had the poached eggs with avocado, potatoes, asparagus and toast, which was really nice. Now, the portions are fairly small, which is a bit of a recurring theme, but obviously you can order as much food as you like, and we're not normally breakfast eaters, so this was the perfect portions for us, and the food was really nice. And again, it was just nice eating in an intimate environment. I'm sure you can get the same fare in the main dining room or even in the Ocean View Cafe, but we really liked the intimate environment and the fantastic service of Blu. So let's fast forward our sea day to the evening, and we are back in Blu for supper. And one of the things you can order in Blu is these specialty cocktails. And if you've got the premium drinks package, they're included. If you've got the classic drinks package, then you pay the difference. And let's look quickly at the menus for the evening. And they always consisted of 3 or 4 starters, 3 or 4 mains, plus some of the classic menu items, and of course this lovely bread again. And tonight James started with the tuna tataki with mango, which he said was very nice, and I had the heirloom tomatoes, which were nice but not absolutely amazing. For our mains, we both ordered the rack of lamb with lamb shoulder and filet pastry and fingerling potatoes, and these were very nice but quite fiddly to eat. And then for dessert, James as ever had the cheese because, as I said, he tries to avoid eating sugar, and I had the apple crumble with ice cream, which again was very nice. Really great evening meal, fantastic service, nice environment, and great wine as well. Okay, on to day 4 and our evening meal in Blu, and it's worth saying that you can only eat breakfast in Blu on sea days between 8 and 9:30. So here we are having our starters. James had the quail with tabbouleh salad, and he said it looked like a squashed frog, but he said it was nice. And then I had the butternut squash soup, which had a slight curry flavour to it, and that was nice as well. Then on to our main course. James opted for the lamb chop salad, which was kind of like a lamb chop with a bit of a side salad. And then I had the tuna in a tomato ragu, which was a little bit salty, but again was very nice. As ever, the service was great, and the portions are fairly small, but we stuffed ourselves with that lovely fresh bread. So by the end of the meal, we were certainly had eaten enough. I don't know about you, but on cruises often I go to bed feeling completely bloated, and on this cruise we never did. We always felt full, but we never had that sense of being completely bloated. So on to desserts. Now, there aren't a ton of choices with desserts, but there are always enough. And as ever, James had the cheese again because he avoids sugar, and I had the tiramisu, which was a small portion but perfectly sized for me and just sated my sweet tooth enough without again feeling completely bloated. On to day 5 and our evening meal in Blu. Now, we hadn't eaten much during the day, so we both had 2 starters. So James had the salmon and I had the vegetable spring rolls, or the vegetable summer rolls, which were nice with the chili sauce. And then for our second starter, James had the veg rolls and I had a chicory salad with apples and grapes and blue cheese, and both of those were very nice. So on to our main course, and I had the vegetable korma, which I really enjoyed, and James had the veal, which again he really enjoyed. For desserts, as ever, James had the cheese and I had the whipped passion fruit curd, which was not bad. So all in all, another great meal at Blu with fantastic service and really decent food. So on to day 6. Now, this was Chic Night, which meant the menu was elevated and included things like filet mignon and lobster tail, baked Alaska and so on. So we were really excited to have this meal. And for starters, James had the spicy plantain soup and I had the tomato and fennel soup, and both of those were okay. Nothing amazing to write home about, but you know, soup is soup, right? So it was nice. And of course, the bread accompanying it was really good. And then on to the main course. Now, I was greedy and I had both the lobster and the filet mignon. And I have to say this was absolutely the best meal I had on the cruise, and if I'm honest, better than Eden, where we paid £60 to eat there. And so I had that, and then James just had the filet mignon with some mashed potato. And as I said, these were fantastic meals. And then for desserts, James broke his sugar fast and we both had the signature baked Alaska, which we enjoyed. Now, we both really enjoyed this meal and we felt like we were eating in a specialty restaurant based on the ambience, based on the food and the fantastic service that we had as well. Okay, the cruise is coming to an end way too quickly and we're into our final meal in Blu, and you can see the menu here. And for starters, James had the prosciutto and I had the clam chowder, which to be honest was not my favourite meal in Blu, or my favourite starter. And then we both also had a second starter of the iceberg salad. Then for the main courses, James had the lamb shank, which he really enjoyed, and I had the 4 cheese gnocchi, which was rather overcooked, so it was a little bit mushy. So again, not my favourite meal to have had in Blu, and it kind of was like the universe telling me it's time to go home. So for our final desserts, James had the no sugar cherries jubilee and I had the tarte tatin, which was definitely the star of this particular meal. So another fairly enjoyable meal with great service, nice environment, fantastic waiters and decent food. Okay, so I just wanted to wrap up today's video and I hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoyed the food porn. It certainly made me feel a bit hungry editing it, and it reminded me of how great the food was. But just a few thoughts about Blu. The things that we really loved about it was the kind of exclusivity, that it wasn't a big restaurant. We never waited for a table. The waiters quickly got to know our preferences, both in terms of seating, because we wanted to be in a quiet area because we were filming, we wanted to be respectful of the other guests, but also the wine that we preferred. And in the end, the sommelier always came over with the wine. We didn't even have to ask for it. Service was fantastic. Now, one of the things that we found about Blu, and you've heard us say a number of times throughout this vlog series, is that the portions are not very big. Now, I am not a big eater, but even I found the portion sizes fairly small. And of course, they give you this lovely bread, so you sort of stuff your face with the bread first of all, and then by the time you've got your main course, you're not that hungry anyway. So we never, ever left the restaurant feeling hungry, but never be afraid of 2 things. One of them is ordering 2 starters or 2 main courses if you want them, or if you can't decide. But second of all, you can also order things outside of the menu. So you saw that James often ordered the cheese and biscuits, but you can also order other food from the main dining room menu. Although, of course, you don't know what that menu is unless you've checked it on the app or you've actually gone to one of the main dining rooms to see what the food is that day and think, oh, I really fancy that. And then you can ask for that in Blu. Given that Blu is supposed to be a healthy eating restaurant, we felt like there should have been more veg with the protein, the meat that you had. And often at times it was like the main piece of meat, as you'll have seen in the video, with a little bit of sort of a side of veg. And so we felt like there could have been more veg. As I say, it's supposed to be healthy eating, but these are really minor quips. As I said, the ambience was great. We really liked the environment. I can't say enough about the waiting staff. I mean, the service throughout the whole ship, but especially in Blu. And as I said, we never had to wait for a table. I think probably the least favourite part of Blu were the desserts. And I'd say overall on the ship, the least favourite part of what is an amazing food was the desserts. I didn't really enjoy any of the desserts at lunchtime when we were in the buffet. James did find a couple of the hot things like the apple crumbles which he really enjoyed, but that's not really my thing, especially at lunchtime. So I often went to the ice cream place and got a scoop of ice cream or Mr. Whippy, which was included, and that was enough to sate my sweet tooth. So the desserts weren't amazing. There's nothing wrong with them. They just weren't amazing. But overall, we would definitely eat in Blu when we can and travel in Aqua Class when we can get a good deal. So what do you think? Do you think Aqua Class is worth paying the extra money for? Watch last week's video and I did a price comparison of this cruise next year, and Aqua Class is £1,000 more for a 7-night cruise than the equivalent just staying in a standard veranda cabin and eating in the main dining room and so on. So is that worth it to you for the exclusivity and the access to the spa, or do you think you could spend that money better elsewhere? So do leave a comment and let us know. And if you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and make sure you've hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time when we head out on the road again, and we are off to Greece shortly for a hot weather cruise. So we will let you know all about that in the next video, and of course we're going to take you along with us as well.